This is a video that has been on my to-do list and has been suggested by plenty of people for a while now, but is one that I hadn't done up until this point purely because I wasn't sure what the title would be. Genuinely, there are plenty of good ideas that I just never do because I can't think of a way to concisely describe the content of the video in a way in which will both make people interested enough to watch it and accurately describe what they're going to watch. Anyhow, on this occasion I've decided to just bite the bullet and hopefully I can come up with a decent enough title when I come to uploading it. In case I haven't, this video is all about football clubs whose stadiums are located outside of the town, city, or village in which that club is said to represent. AC Milan, for example, play in Milan, but if they played in Darlington, they would be a perfect candidate for this 7. They don't though, they play in Milan. But here are 7 teams who don't play in the places in which they are said to represent. AFC Wimbledon. There is no lack of clubs whose home stadiums are not located in the place the team is said to represent, so I've had to whittle it down to only 7, and I will have some honourable mentions later on. Wimbledon is a town in southwest London, roughly 7 miles southwest of Charing Cross, and Wimbledon FC spent 102 years playing in the town, firstly at Wimbledon Common and later at Plough Lane. In 1991, the club had to move from Plough Lane, which could not be made to comply with the Taylor Report, to Selhurst Park, and in 2002, the FA and the Football League controversially gave permission for the team to be moved to Milton Keynes. This was a hugely unpopular decision among Wimbledon fans, unsurprisingly so, given that it typically takes at least an hour and a half to get from Wimbledon to Milton Keynes. Disgruntled Wimbledon fans formed their own club, AFC Wimbledon, determined to remain in their spiritual home. Unfortunately, Plough Lane was demolished in 2002, and AFC Wimbledon would have to start their new journey right from the bottom in the 9th tier of English football, so there will be no immediate return to the town of Wimbledon. Since rising from the ashes, the Dons have won 6 promotions and now compete in League One, but they have done so playing out of Kingsmeadow Stadium, around 4 miles from Wimbledon. That is considerably closer than Milton Keynes, but it still isn't the place that the football club represents. AFC Wimbledon hope to leave Kingsmeadow and return to Wimbledon for the 2020-21 season, with proposals for a new Plough Lane just 250 yards away from the site of the original ground. Western Sydney Wanderers. The Western Sydney Wanderers are among the most successful young clubs in world football. Founded in 2012, Football NSW had long wanted Western Sydney, which is considered among the most passionate regions in Australia when it comes to football, to be represented in the A-League. They originally backed the bid of Sydney FC to have an A-League team, but when the club chose to play their home games at the Sydney Football Stadium rather than the Parramatta Stadium, Football NSW cut all ties with the new side. In 2012, when Gold Coast United had their A-League licence revoked, the opportunity presented itself for a new Sydney franchise representing the Western Sydney region. Western Sydney Wanderers became that new side, with their name paying homage to both the region and Wanderers FC, who were considered to have been the first Australian soccer team in the 1880s, and they too played in Western Sydney. The Western Sydney Wanderers moved into the Parramatta Stadium that had been overlooked by Sydney FC, which is now known as the Bankwest Stadium for sponsorship reasons. The Bankwest Stadium is located in Parramatta, which is a suburb of the city of Parramatta, and it lies around 25 to 30 kilometres from Sydney city centre. Since their formation 8 short years ago, Western Sydney Wanderers have won both the A-League and the AFC Champions League. They have the second highest average attendance in the A-League this season, and they hold the record for the league's highest ever attendance. Bolton Wanderers. From Bondi to Bolton, from one set of Wanderers to another, in 5th place in this 7 we have Bolton Wanderers, whose stadium is close to Bolton but isn't actually in the town. Bolton Wanderers are among the most historic football clubs in England, as founding members of the Football League and 4-time FA Cup winners. Founded in 1874, Bolton's first regular home was Pikes Lane in Bolton, which could hold up to 20,000 people and was the venue of the first goal scored in league football anywhere in the world. Bolton spent 5 years at Pikes Lane before moving to Burnden Park, which was located in the Burnden district of Bolton, within a mile of Bolton city centre. Burnden Park was the site of both triumph and tragedy during its 102 years as a football ground, but Wanderers moved out of the stadium in 1997 and it was demolished in 1999 and a large Asda now stands in its place. Bolton's brand spanking new stadium was called the Reebok Arena and it was the club's first stadium outside of Bolton, located in the town of Horwich instead. In 2014, the stadium was renamed the Macron Stadium. In 2018, it became the University of Bolton Stadium. Whilst Burnden Park was situated within a mile of Bolton town centre, University of Bolton Stadium is more than 5 miles out of the town centre. Grimsby Town. Grimsby Town are another very old English club, having been formed in 1878. The club was originally called Grimsby Pelham, but had been renamed Grimsby Town within a year of their formation. Once managed by the great Bill Shankly, and now managed by Ian Holloway, Grimsby are historically the most successful club from the county of Lincolnshire. Grimsby's first three stadiums were Clee Park, Lovett Street and Abbey Park, located in Grimsby, but they moved to their current home Bundle Park in 1899. Grimsby took the fixtures, fittings and stands from Abbey Park with them to Bundle Park as they began playing outside of the town for the first time. Blundell Park is located in Cleethorpes, a seaside resort around 2 miles from Grimsby town centre. In its heyday, the ground hosted more than 31,000 people for an FA Cup tie with Wolverhampton Wanderers. That record is unlikely to be beaten anytime soon, with the old ground now having a maximum capacity of just over 9,000. Hoffenheim. As any of you who watch my video on the 7 best football clubs not based in cities will know, Hoffenheim are the world's best village team. Yes, that's right, despite being Bundesliga regulars these days who have finished as high as third in one of the world's best leagues, as well as featuring the Champions League, Hoffenheim are a village football club. The village of Hoffenheim has a population of 3,272 people, and for most of their 100 plus years in existence, 1899 Hoffenheim standing has reflected the size of the village. Founded, as their name would suggest, in 1899, Hoffenheim played at what is now known as the Dietmar Hopp Stadion in Hoffenheim. That stadium still stands, playing host to Hoffenheim's reserve team, but Hoffenheim's first team left the ground following their promotion to the Bundesliga in 2008. The team spent a year playing at the Karl-Benz Stadion in Mannheim, which is around 50 kilometres from Hoffenheim, before moving into the purpose-built €100 million 30,000 capacity Rhein-Neckar Arena in 2009. The Rhein-Neckar Arena, which is the largest stadium in the Rhein-Neckar metropolitan area, is based in the town of Sinsheim, around 7 kilometres away from the village of Hoffenheim. The town of Sinsheim has a population of around 35,000, roughly the same as the stadium's capacity, which is about 10 times the population of Hoffenheim itself. Barnet. In second place in this 7, which I should point out is in no particular order, we have our second London club. National League side Barnet FC represent the town of Chipping Barnet, where they were founded in 1888. Between 1907 and 2013, Barnet played their home games at Underhill Stadium in Chipping Barnet, which had a record attendance of 11,000 and a maximum capacity when it was closed of 6,000. In July 2013, Barnet moved to a similar size but much more modern ground known as the Hive Stadium, which is based outside of Chipping Barnet. The Hive Stadium is located in Cannons Park, on the former site of the Prince Edward playing fields, in the London Borough of Harrow. That's around 7 miles from Barnet, or roughly half an hour's drive according to Google Maps, given current London traffic at the time of this recording. The Hive isn't just the home of Barnet, with the stadium also hosting the London Bees, who are Barnet's women's team, in addition to Tottenham Hotspur FC Women. The ground has also been used to host England under-20 games, as a base for international teams training ahead of games against England at Wembley, and the Nigerian national team have twice played at the stadium against Serbia and Senegal. Honourable mentions. I'd love to hear all your suggestions in the comments since, as always, I'm sure I haven't named everyone, and given the wide range of regions which tune into HITC Sevens, I'm sure some of you know of some interesting examples from your parts of the world. Other English teams who made my shortlist include the likes of Bournemouth, Chelsea and Brighton & Hove Albion, and there's still time for one more inclusion up next. FC Dallas. FC Dallas were one of the 10 inaugural Major League Soccer franchises back in 1996, although they were named Dallas Burn at the time. The team became known as FC Dallas in 2004, and they won their first and only Supporters' Shield in 2016. The franchise naturally represents the city of Dallas in Texas, which is the 9th largest city in the United States, with a population in excess of 1.3 million people, which also makes it the 3rd largest city in the state of Texas. Dallas is also one of the sporting capitals of the United States, with the Dallas Cowboys being considered as the most valuable sports team on earth by Forbes. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks also feature in that list, having won their first NBA championship in 2011. FC Dallas are less celebrated and successful than their Major League competitors, and like the Cowboys, but unlike the Mavericks, they aren't based within the city of Dallas. FC Dallas's first stadium, the Cotton Bowl Stadium, was based in Dallas, but they moved to the newly built Toyota Stadium in 2005. The Toyota Stadium is based on the aptly named World Cup Way in Frisco, a city with a population in excess of 100,000 itself, rather than Dallas. It's more than half an hour drive covering 28 miles from the centre of Dallas to FC Dallas's home ground, a veritable chasm by the standards of a sports team here in the UK, but no more than a stone's throw away over in the US. That's it for today's 7. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and obviously make sure you're subscribed to HITC Sevens. Also, if you're watching on mobile, just try tapping your screen now. Apparently that is sometimes required to bring up our little subscribe button and a couple of other videos that YouTube thinks you might enjoy.